Hello all, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about On the Move, written by Thomas Gunn. On the Move. This poem from Gunn's second collection is his most famous piece and among the best known of all post-war poems. In it, the aimless but threatening movement of a motorcycle gang becomes a metaphor for modern man's sense of alienation and lack of purpose. In On the Move, Gunn uses a series of connected metaphors, all deriving from the key image of movement. The poem is a sociological footnote of the 50s. The young black jacketed motorcyclists of the West become fitting symbols of restless energy and violent movement. The subtitle of the poem, Man You Go to Go, denotes the unwillingness and inability to stand still. It is the epigraph to the poem. In the first stanza, Gunn briefly introduces the general premise of the poem, that is, always to be on the move. The bird of the crow family, the blue jay, with its grey plumage, with its confused movements, is always on the move, following some hidden purpose. The aimlessness of the motorcyclist gang is also depicted in the poem. The depiction of the boys in the second stanza seems sympathetic. They are seen very much as they wish to be seen. Yet Gunn also views them critically. Gunn uses the analogy of the actions of the motorcyclist to show how man in general lacks a clear sense of purpose and thus follow others. Even if their activity too is ultimately purposeless, they are unable and unwilling to keep still. They have replaced language with noise and pursue their hidden purpose forward. The statement that man manufactures both machine and soul is developed in the reference later to the self-defined and the created will. It examines the idea that modern man invents or chooses as a deliberate act of will, definitions of lifestyle and personality to supply what nature has omitted. Conclusion. Gunn shows how the biker's activity, because it is only a part solution, leaves the central existential problem still open, where there is a solution or only a part solution to men's lack of purpose. Thus, for Gunn, man's life is a struggle in which, through action, kind of victory is won in defeat. The poem can be understood in three ways: as an example for the poet's heroic stance, as a sociological footnote of the 50s, and as a beautifully finished piece of imaginative writing. Detailed summary of the poem On the Move by Thomas Gunn. Stanza 1. In stanza 1 of the first four lines describe a natural scene. Birds dart around in an energetic way, doing what is instinctive for them to do. The birds, while undisturbed by humanity, are in harmony with their environment. In line 6, the pronoun one is ambiguous and operates on more than one level. It refers to the poet or people, or by extension to the bikers. This is usually difficult to explain to a class. I generally leave it at the level of the poet, and if a brighter people spoils the possible alternatives, I'll let discussion develop as far as they can take it. The point becomes clearer further on in this poem when the poet identifies with the basic feeling of indecision within mankind. In the final lines of the stanza, mankind also acts with vigor like the birds, but it does not know exactly what it is doing, nor can mankind express its ideas clearly. In the attempt at articulation, a disturbance is caused, an uncertain violence. Humans are out of tune with themselves and their surroundings. Now the words dust and thunder foreshadow the appearance of the boys in stanza 2. Even the word baffled operates on different levels, referring to frustration or an exhaust silencer. Stanza 2. Stanza 2 opens with a view of the motorcycle gang in the distance as small and insect-like. They grow larger as they approach, and the roar of their engines increase in volume. Soon the riders are seen astride the powerful machines. In their leather uniforms, they all look the same. The distasteful images in line 2 suggest disapproval and even something alien. The gang's physical mastery of the machine is suggested by held by calf and thigh. Lines 7 to 8 deal with the uniformity of clothing and behavior. Two aspects of the gang which are purposeful: the uniforms, their collective way of life, and the constant movement almost give them a sense of purpose in life. which may overcome their doubt and about themselves. Stanza 3. In stanza 3, the boys are trying to prove their manhood but are uncertain about how tough they really are. They know their origin but they are not certain of their destination. The bikers disturb the birds, and the poet sees this as typical of modern life. Nature has now to submit to the willpower and control of man. This control is often unplanned and uncoordinated. Modern man makes both machine and soul. He consciously shapes his beliefs and his characters, and he uses both these elements to take great risk in unusual or novel enterprises. Man do not move by instinct only as the birds do, but by their own acts of will. Man have a measure of free will in their actions. Stanza 4. Stanza 4 suggests that attempts by man to shape his future should not be condemned. Because man is only half animal, he cannot act by pure instinct only as the birds do. Man has to make decisions. These decisions are difficult, and it helps him if he joins a gang or groundswell of human change, which will give him moral support and some values which he can identify while in that group. The actions of the gang make the boys feel at least they are getting somewhere, but there is no concept of how or where the journey will end. Stanza 5. In the final stanza, the boys do not stop for long. Soon these self-assured young men mount their man-made machineries and roar away. Their way of life has no final goal or resting place, and does not achieve a natural wholeness as the lives of birds or saints do. Although they do not gain a feeling of satisfaction or completeness from life, they do at least feel that they are moving somewhere which is better than sitting doing nothing at all. George Macbeth, in his book Poetry 1900 to 1975, has this to say concerning the ending of the poem. The last three lines of the poem have immense authority and mind stand of Thomas Gunn's central philosophy of life. Generally, the attitudes expressed in the poem are similar to the philosophy of existentialism. Men have no God-given purpose, but must define themselves, manufacture their own souls, and choose their own destinations, thus creating some sort of value system where none existed before. This seems to be that man is a creature possessing free will whose identity lies in his power to choose and pick his future by his own action. This philosophy derives from the existentialism of Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus. Furthermore, man still have a measure of free will. Life is a journey with an uncertain, if not unattainable destination. Moving fast may give man the illusion of reacting vigorously to the difficulties of life. Man is not sure, however, that what is being moved forward is good or not so good. It is worthwhile to note that the ambivalence of the poet to clear goals in life. Yet he seems to sympathize with them and understand them, and he does not wish them to be condemned. He even sees to admire their powerful machines, their group feelings, and their attitude that it is better to be doing something active rather than to sit in art. Thank you.